Let me see here. Okay. I don't know what's going to be in this game, so actually, hold on. That's what I can do. Okay, so I am going to be going into a game. Let's see. Let's go and just update that. Close. Okay, so hide it. Okay, so I'm going to go into playing a game called Ambition, a minuet in power. Let's see. A young woman finds herself alone in the streets of Paris, far from home and abandoned by the love of her life. In that moment, she decides to live for herself and seek her own passions, as France marches towards a violent uprising that will change history forever. Navigate the twisting social politics of pre revolutionary Paris in a game world that's different every time you play. Court, snub, and seduce your way to the top of society. Extend your influence, uncover the intrigue of the coming revolution, and ensure that you end up on the winning side of history. Oh, so you're in that time period for France. Okay. French Revolution. All right. Okay, so we're going to play that. Actually, hold on. Hold on. 1 second. Whoop. 1 second, guys. That's not what I wanted. Cute. I do like the music. Okay, so that's what I want. All right, let's go ahead and show. There we go. This is the game. I've never played this game, so I don't know what to expect, but this is one they just gave out for free today. Was it today? Yeah, today. Or I just got today for free. Let's see. Settings. Music volume. Yeah, let's turn. Oh, wait, hold on. I just realized something I didn't adjust. You can't hear it. So, turn things down a little bit. I usually have to turn most. Yeah, choose revolution. Revolution. Okay. Ambition, a minuet in power. This will be interesting. Alright, so. New game. Prologue. A vet's story. 20 Mars 1789. The carriage rumbles and bounces along the cobbles as you approach Paris. It's taken over a week to get here, even carrying just yourself and your luggage. These dots means there's more story ahead. Click anywhere in this text box to advance. Oh, you got little things. Credibility, peril, and money. Okay. Text anywhere in this box to advance. Okay. Your fiance, Armand, arranged for the carriage to take you from your small village to a tavern he enjoys called the Orphan's Feast. There, he'll meet up with you. You'll likely take dinner together, and then he'll show you to your new home Paris. For now, though, you've already finished all of your books, and Armand's letter is your only entertainment, other than staring out the window. These buttons in the text box let you select what you'll do or say next. Click them. Might as well take in the sights. Read the letter one more time. Heard. Coachman, let's go. I don't have all day. What did Armand say? 'Cause it didn't actually say exactly. Well, actually, damn it. Hold on, can I go back? Alright. Might as well take in the sights. Reading the letter one more time wouldn't hurt. Okay. Yeah. Reading the letter. Let's read the letter. You must have read the brief letter over 100 times, but you always found new details to puzzle over. Armand's letters were often extremely long, a habit you'd frequently tease him over in your own missives. Sherry Givet, I know it may be sudden, but I want to invite you to live with me in Paris. Is that really it? Back in your provincial hometown, you were engaged shortly, before he moved north to Paris to participate in the estates in general. He dreamed of changing the country, and this was the political event of the century. You mailed love letters soaked in perfume. He replied with volumes about how much he misses you. The romance of it all helped make up for the inconvenience. Now that your parents cared much, not that your parents cared much about the romance. At first, you'd been afraid to tell them that their youngest daughter wanted to move far away. Instead, they nearly threw you onto the carriage to follow Armand to Paris. While you understood the significant benefits your common family would receive from your marriage into a nobleman, you couldn't help but be a little annoyed at their eagerness to see you off. I can't wait for you to see it. It's unlike anything back home, a truly vital place where anyone can meet anything. J'ai embrassé. J A M S A Arnold. Basically, yours truly, or with Pope. That was something you were looking forward to, a chance to be something more. After all, Baroness Yvette de Bow has a certain ring to it. Coachman, can we pick up the pace? Might as well take in the sights. Let's take in the sights. Might as well take in the sights. You crane your neck out the window to peer at Paris. It's even more than you imagined. The streets are a riot of color and energy as people go about their days. Elegant persons of fashion strut like brilliant peacocks. Students stumble under the weight of their books. Beggars alternate between pleading for alms and shouting invectives at passerbys. Everything feels significant. The world's next act hinges on all of their choices. Though part of you is worried by your unfamiliar surroundings, you mostly feel excited. This place is to be the stage for your new life. Before you know it, the carriage starts slowing down. You must be here. Armand arranged to meet you at tavern named the Orphan's Feast. As tired and rumpled as you are, you're glad that he planned to meet you in a place with ample food and wine. When you arrive, the coachman helps you out of the carriage and you find yourself outside a glowing, friendly-looking town. The sign shows a grubby-looking child holding a plate piled high with fresh bread and roasted meats. This must be the place. I don't know about that, but okay. This must be the place. Inside, a woman polishing a lantern looks up at you as you enter, and her face breaks into a bright smile. Bonjour, madame, and welcome to the Orphan's Feast. Her eyes linger expectantly on the door for a moment before settling on you. You're suddenly reminded of how rare it is for women to travel by themselves. How may I be of service? She asks. This is my first time here. Is there anything I could know to help me find my fiancé? That's the tutorial. I'm looking for my fiancé. We're going through the tutorial because I've not played this game before, so tutorial. This is my first time here. Is there anything I should know to help me find my fiancé? Don't worry. While the rest of the city can be rather cutthroat, The Orphan's Feast is a relaxed place for getting your feet under you. The woman puts down the lantern she was polishing. She favors you with a devious smile. Find guests worth talking to and try to say the right things to the right people. You'll never have time to talk to everyone, so try to use your time wisely. I'm sure that if you ask around, you'll be able to find your fiancé in no time. When she puts it that way, it suddenly sounds so easy. While you only have one outfit to your name at the moment, the Orphan's Feast doesn't feel like a particularly judgmental place in terms of fashion. Your credibility won't be shifted by what you're wearing here. As long as you explore the tavern and talk to people, you should be able to find Armand soon enough. Okay. Remaining turn. 2 turns. This is the party map. Select a room to talk to the people here. The people there. I already talked to her. Alright, let's see. Let's pick you first. Reason to travel. Our fellow traveler sits at a nearby table, having recently become acquainted with Paris himself. Perhaps he'll be able to point you in the right direction. Let's see. What is it? Potential rewards: 0 to 1 Ludovico favor, -10 to 5 credibility, 0 to 5 peril, 0 to 1 Alex favor, 0 to 1 honorable favor. Okay. Conversation. Who are you? You approach a man standing by himself. His wig is slightly disheveled, and he has fresh mud on his boots. Ah, bonjour, madame. You must have just arrived in Paris as well, he says affably. Where did you journey from? An idyllic farming town to the south. I'm a little sorry I left behind. It was nowhere significant. I'm happy to be here. I'm looking for someone. Do you know where I can find the Baron Demo? Enthusiastic. So, should I be outright? Say looking for somebody or idyllic? I'll go for idyllic. Because that's what he asked for. An idyllic farming town to the south. I'm a little sorry I left it behind. Do not worry, madam. I'm sure you'll be able to return there soon enough, he replies with a warm laugh. I myself came a few months ago from similar idyllic surroundings in Brittany. But of course, the harvest has not been so good this year, which is what brings me to Paris. I'm searching for a way to revitalize our estate. Back home, I tried new farming techniques, imported tools, and I even built a shrine to Saint Isidore himself. Yet, it has to no avail. So I am here in search of a solution. Et vous, madame, what has brought you to Paris so far from home? I'm here because my fiancé, Armand, is here. I'd follow him anywhere. This is the only place where I can achieve the status that I deserve. Paris is a hub of trade, wealth, and craftsmanship. It's where I can get the lifestyle I want. Okay, so I'm here because of my fiancé, Armand. I'd follow him anywhere. You've traveled all the way here for your fiancé? Such love and devotion reminds me of when I was your age. His eyes have a far-off look for a moment. Never let yourself lose sight of such things. If that is why you are here, you might want to seek out those associated with the church. Love and tradition are very much on their minds. You've gained a little favor with members of the church. Don't worry, you'll meet them later. So this Armand of yours, what brought him to Paris? His business isn't mine to discuss. He nods his head affably. My apologies, madam. I didn't mean to pry. Discretion is such a rare virtue in this day and age that I'd almost forgotten it entirely. You've gained a little credibility. You've gained some credibility. The more credibility you have, the easier it is for you to deceive someone during a credibility check. You get a credibility checks in this game? Huh. Interesting. The two of you spend the next few minutes exchanging small talk and pleasant travel stories. It's nice to talk with another person again, even if it's about nothing in particular. Eventually, he excuses himself, as he needs to make it to some sort of appointment. A pleasant diversion, but you're no closer to finding Armand than when you started. You have a limited amount of turns to talk to at each party. Conversing in a room always costs one turn, so choose wisely. Click anywhere to continue. Oh, who are these people? Okay, who are you? A countrywoman. Now that you're more acclimated to the guests and travelers of the Orphan's Feast, you should be able to find someone that can lead you to our home. After hours of questioning and searching, it's late in the evening, and you've still yet to find Armand. You're not even sure why, but you feel exhausted. Who knew talking to people was such hard work? Now that you're warmed up, this may be your chance to finally find out where Armand is.
Hmm.
You approach a woman who you had spotted glancing your way earlier. I'm looking for my fiance Armand. Have you seen him? Pardon me. Have you seen the Baron de Marveau? My name is Yvette, and I'm looking for someone. Can you help me? That's probably the best way. Better to introduce yourself before you ask them if they know where somebody is. My name is Yvette, and I'm looking for someone. Can you help me?
Ah.
She laughs nervously at your request, shifting from foot to foot. She makes small talk for a brief moment before excusing herself and disappearing into the crowd. The room appears to be emptying out.
Huh.
A gentleman you remember seeing earlier walks by. He might prove a little more useful. Let's see. Monsieur, a moment of your time. Have you seen your fiance, Baron de Marbe? Excuse me, do you help a woman in need? Do you know a man named Armand? Hmm. Probably ask for a moment of your time before you go into a request. Monsieur, a moment of your time. He looks at you, glances over to the woman who you spoke with earlier, then quickens his pace as he walks by.
Huh.
The room is emptying out even faster now. You manage to get the attention of another woman. Hello, could you? Hello, She doesn't even slow down before she leaves. After a third person gives you the cold shoulder, you start to wonder what happened. Are you really that out of place? Is it something about Armand? What is going on here? Still, you check around the Orphan's Feast one last time. There's no sign of Armand, not even an open tab with the tavern keep. After waiting around for a few hours, you leave the Orphan's Feast, dragging your small mountain of luggage behind you. After all, the coach was only hired to take you to the tavern. Armand may not have been waiting for you like he said he would, but you memorized his address from all of the times you wrote it on your letters to him. It's the middle of the night, but the street is still teeming with life. The light from the windows and the street lamps sparkle like the stars. You're tired and your feet hurt, but still, you can't help but smile. This is it. This is Paris. No matter what happens, you're still here. For a brief moment, you're not a country girl dragging luggage through the streets. You're the person you feel that you are when you close your eyes alone. You're overseeing a grand salon surrounded by poets, musicians, scientists, philosophers, and artists. You are elegant, sophisticated, and respected. You're close to the address. Armand never described his living conditions much, but he's the son of a baron, and his family was always well-to-do, especially compared to yours. You spent a lot of time in that carriage wondering about the home you'd spend your new life in. Still, you didn't expect this. Calling the house rustic would imply that you were out in the country, not in the center of a city. The neighborhood is nice enough, but you're worried that if you breathe too hard on the building, it'll fall over. A well-kept woman in the attire of a maid opens the door and approaches you. Ah, bonsoir. I assume you must be Madame Yvette. My name is Camille. Bonsoir. How the heck do you say it? Bonsoir? Eh. French is so hard to speak. Monsieur. Monsieur. Armand told me to expect you. Mercy, Camille. Please take me to Armand. Is this where he lives? Oh, God. Oh, I'm not going to say that. That sounds really mean. Mercy, Camille. Please, take me to Armand.
Hmm.
I was hoping that he was with you, Camille replies hesitantly. I haven't seen him in days. Thank you. Do you think Armand's alright? He has a lot of explaining to do. He does have a lot of explaining to do, but I don't know if I want to tell her that. Thank you, Camille. Do you think Armand's alright?
Hmm.
I'm sure he's fine, madame. Camille replies with a tone a voice that doesn't fill you with confidence. Glancing around, Camille seems to notice your mountain of luggage for the first time. Mon Dieu, madame, did you carry this all yourself? You must be exhausted. She's not wrong. You're not certain how you're still upright and awake right now. I've already made up your bed, madame. Please go inside and let me take care of this. You make you take your diary and leave the heavy lifting to Camille. The inside of the house isn't much better than the outside. Camille keeps the place tidy, but she can only do so much. Still, you don't care about that right now. You're just happy to have a over your head. You flop down on a nearby couch, open your diary, and start to write. You're tired, disappointed, and perhaps abandoned, but writing things down always helps you make sense of a situation. Oh, didn't use any novelty. I don't know what Ludovico favor is, but I got 5 credibility. What is Ludovico? Is that the name of the person? Alright. Continue. Alright. 21 Mars 1789. Early the next morning, Camille approaches you, occasionally wringing her apron with her hands. She's obviously nervous. Madam, there's something you should know. Taking a deep breath, she continues. You're expected to attend a party the day after tomorrow, held by one Viscountess Marcel de Foyt. Foyt? What? Foyt? What? I hate French. No, if I don't. It's not. I don't like having to speak French. Is what I mean. Foy? 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 Foy. I mean, Armand replied to the invitation, but you were to be his date. Glenn, a party. What? Why didn't you tell me sooner? What do you know about the Viscountess de Foy? What do you know?
Huh.
I'm sorry, ma'am, but a Viscountess is just felt above my station, so I tried not to pay attention whenever she came up. Camille replies with a shrug. I know that she never visited the house. Monsieur Armand seemed to like her, but from what I could tell, she was a little, how do I put this? Judgmental. She was a little, very judgmental. I hope that helps, man. Well, at least I have a party to go to. Well, at least I have a party to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Camille looks visibly relieved. Parfait. If you need anything washed or prepared, just ask. That reminds me, Camille explained. If you're going to a party, you should probably make sure you're dressed appropriately. Fashion moves so quickly here that people retire outfits before they even wear out. At this proclamation, you can't help but notice that Camille's uniform has been repaired many, many times. Camille continues. Monsieur Armand was always going through clothes so quickly, he said that every outfit had a certain amount of novelty. Every time you wore them to a party, the novelty would go down a bit. In fact, even a little thing like wearing the same thing twice in a row could run the novelty out faster. Can you imagine? Fortunately, he knew the most delightful clothier on Rue des Faubourg Saint-Honore. She runs a shop called La Petite Mongole. I'll draw you some directions. Immediately she starts sketching some directions, mostly just simple renderings of local landmarks. La Petite Mogul is now available to visit in the Paris map. If you head out today, you should be well prepared for the party tomorrow night. Okay. Let's see. You've gained a level of exhaustion by attending the party. Any levels of exhaustion that you have at the start of a party or run will give you a penalty to your credibility. Worry not. You'll discover ways to reduce your exhaustion. Okay. What am I doing? Requests the attendance of Baron Armand de Morgan on 22 Mars 1789 in a gathering of her most loyal heroes. For entertainment and merriment, you are most eagerly awaited. Attending this party will give you a level of exhaustion. Ignoring this invitation will cost you 5 ability. You'll receive crown gossip at this party. Okay. I'm assuming I'm going to explore Paris then? Explore Paris. Alright. I have, it looks like 100. What that symbol is meant to be. Let's see. La Petite Mogul. Alright, so this is the legend. Alright. Mogul. Alright, a small shop run by the dressmaker Fatina Shena. Spend your day here to buy and sell wardrobe items. It's a long walk to Rue de Faubourg Saint Honore, but the trek to the narrow street is worth it. Every block hums with a vibrant energy, bursting with life. Porters and social climbers wind their way through the streets, festooned with brightly colored parcels. Paris may be a city swimming in fashion and finery, but this is the source. This street is home to all the major fashion houses in the country, and to Rose Burton, personal dressmaker to the queen herself. And now you're here. Back home, they sigh and dream of places like this, then quietly get back to their little lives. Not you. Your circumstances may be less than ideal, but you're still here. La Petite Mogul, you mumble to yourself idly, trying to make sure you remember the name of the shop. Eventually, you find a small boutique tucked between some far grander buildings. You open the door and walk into the tiny shop, which seems even smaller due to how absolutely full it is. This isn't just a boutique, it's a workshop for whoever works here. Rolls of gorgeous fabric cover every available surface. A cloying smoke hangs in the air. The scent is pleasant, but wholly unfamiliar. As soon as the door swings shut behind you, you hear a sudden rustling of fabric further in the store. A customer! Alhamdulillah! A surprisingly young voice calls out. Bonjour, madame, and welcome to Le Petit Mogul. A woman, presumably the owner, calls out to you. How may I help you? All of this is so new. What can you tell me about roommates and fashion? You need the tutorial, so.
Aha.
At those words, she looks giddy to the point of bursting, but tries to play it off as a knowing smile. This deception is only half successful. Oh, I think I can help with that. Select one of my lovely outfits to see if it's to your liking. Remember, my stock changes every day, so be sure to visit often. Okay. Oh, Allah. Every faction in the game prefers different kinds of outfits. Dressing appropriately for the occasion makes people trust you. It increases your credibility. If you like it, you can click the purchase button to buy it. Why is revolution going on? Military? Military, church, and crown. Oh, provincial, that's why. Okay. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna like that. Okay. We're going for crown, aren't we? Oh, why is crown not like that? Okay. I can't purchase it. Provincial dress is probably the closest. This party is being held by the crown. They like conservative gowns. Sometimes they like Morocco ensembles and robes a la Polonaise. Ah, okay. So I could go with one of these. It's being held by the crown. Probably one of the most favored from the crown, so probably go with the provincial dress. Okay, let's go with the just because it's the cheapest. I want to be able to save as much money as I can. I don't want to spend it all. So purchase this. You've spent some of your money. Livres. Livres are used to buy outfits, pay servants, and try to make sure you always have some on hand. I can't afford it. Oh, this is my character. That's all. Oh, so military likes my provincial outfit. That's cool. So, alright, let's go ahead and leave. I could sell it. Oh no, I can't sell it because it's the one I have. It's the only one I have. So, let's leave. Leave the shop. 22 Mars, 1789. You awaken to the vision of sunlight filtering through the shutters, scattering sunbeams across this dusty bedroom. It takes a few minutes before you groggily remember the events that brought you here. You also remember that tonight you have a party to attend. Camille enters your bedroom, already full of cheer. Madam, when would you like to start getting ready? This is as important as the invitation makes it seem. I should start preparing now. Yeah, I should start preparing now.
Ah.
That's good to hear. These preparations always seem to take all day. On days where you have a party, you won't really have time to spend exploring Paris. Once you go to your wardrobe, you can get started. Don't worry. Wait, I've never really done anything like this. Is there anything I should know? Don't worry,
Mm-hmm.
madame. A glamorous woman like yourself is sure to catch on quickly. Well, that's not helpful at all. Alright, click here to go to the wardrobe. Go to the. Alright. So, click on an outfit to select what you'll wear to this party. Alright, so let's see. Party is being held with a crown. Intimate gathering. Now that you have an outfit selected, click here to go to the party. Go to the party. When your carriage drops you off at the party, you find yourself waiting in line for quite some time. Looking at the other guests, you wonder if you're underdressed or overdressed. It's honestly hard to tell. While trying to determine whether you're underdressed or overdressed, you pause to consider how well rested you feel. Unfortunately, you can feel exhaustion set in as soon as you think of the full itinerary ahead of you. Tonight is going to be a long night. Being exhausted has given you a credibility penalty. You look over yourself one last time and confirm that you're wearing your humble caraco and skirt to a party being held by the crown. The guests approve of your outfit and your credibility has increased. With preparations like this, tonight should be a largely positive affair. While you're determining your standing in the world of fashion, you manage to overhear an interesting rumor walking by. You make a mental note of it, just in case. You have gained a piece of the cheap crown gossip. This will be useful later. Immediately upon entering the vestibule, you're greeted by a doorman holding a small ledger. While he isn't physically barring your entry, his manner certainly is. Name, madame? He asks respectfully. Ooh. Should I say the Baron? Because that's whose invitation it is.
Huh.
The doorman looks perplexed at you for a moment, flipping through his ledger. I do not see your name here. I am Baron Armand de Montmartre. Ah, that is most unfortunate, the doorman replies, surprised with this. The good fight Countess therefore was so looking forward to seeing him tonight. Please convey our deepest regrets at his absence, our well wishes to his health. Is there anything else? Is there anything I can get you? Ooh. I mean, bearing gifts would put me in their favor. Please convey my deepest gratitude to our hostess that I'm eager to meet. No. Gift of wine. Would you be able to take this gift of wine to our hostess? With a small flourish, you present a bottle of wine you had the forethought to bring earlier. It wasn't cheap, but the gesture was important. You have spent 10 livres. Ah, merci beaucoup. Bouquet. Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup. Madame, I shall make sure the Viscountess is aware of your generosity. Turning from you, he waves imperiously to another servant nearby, who takes the bottle from him. Afterwards, the servant dutifully scurries away. You hear some appreciative murmurs from other guests in the vestibule. Your gratitude and enthusiasm seem to have made an impression on her, doing away with some of the tension in the air. Surprisingly, the doorman himself seems rather unfazed. You have lost a tiny amount of peril. You have gained a tiny amount of credibility. Before you can ask any more questions, he bows deeply. He bows deeply you to you. Pardon-moi, madame. Viscountess de Foix instructed me specifically to inform her as soon as you had arrived. We've heard so much about you. Enjoy the party, he says with a smile before leaving. That sounds fishy. Are they setting up the table? You only have 2 turns. Let's see. The gentleman who just entered the room seems like he's been to quite a few of these sorts of events. Perhaps he can tell you more about the host of the party. What about this one? A pair of ladies are whispering amongst themselves about some rumor concerning the family of His Majesty King Louis the 16th. That information could be useful later. Ooh. I can't scroll. Let's see. Some guests are admiring a painting of the hostess. Apparently, it was painted by someone of considerable skill. In fact, you might be able to meet such a person later. Do I want to learn about the toast? Learn a piece of gossip? Or gain some credibility? Gain some favor? Probably want some favor. Over here. Let's do the royal. Some guests are admiring the painting of the hostess. Alright, so pick this one. In one corner of the party, you find 2 guests clustered around a painting hanging on the wall. They're talking in low voices to themselves. You pause to examine the painting yourself. It's a beautiful piece that shows the hostess standing in the field, posing with her dog. The eyes and lips in particular, look marvelously lifelike. Do you have any idea how Marcel managed to get this? A man asks, his face the picture of shock, not taking his eyes off the painting for a moment. He must know the Viscountess de Foix very well in order to use her first name so fiercely, so freely. I have no idea, the woman replies, glancing furtively around the room. Ever since Madame Lebrun started painting portraits of the Queen herself, she seems to feel that she's above normal social niceties. It must have cost a fortune just to make an opening in Madame Lebrun's schedule. I assume that Madame Lebrun knew much about social niceties to begin with, the man quips, and the 2 of them share a sly chuckle at the absent artist's expense. You'd think that someone who worked on commission would care a little more about what others thought of her. The woman turns and asks you furtively, what do you think of Madame Lebrun and her eccentricities? The strain her skills speak for themselves. Not even great things above the society. We'll never get. Ooh, that may put me in peril though. Hey, if she's got the skills to back it up, what does it matter how she is? I should probably go with this one. This is the diplomatic answer. Personally, I'd always admire her willingness to strain against defense. Surprised, the man turns to you with a cocked eyebrow. Oh, you really think making beautiful work is just a byproduct? She's all right because she makes pretty pictures. What an insightful defense! He replies with such fluid sarcasm that you almost mistaken it for a genuine compliment. You have lost some credibility. Shit. After a period of awkward silence, the guests depart to explore the rest of the party. As they leave, you watch them whisper to each other and glance back at you, pointedly. Oh, there's only one left. This is probably the Viscountess. A woman in a staggeringly pink dress is approaching you, carrying her pet dog. Judging by the way other guests are looking at her, you can surmise that this is the Viscountess Marcel de Foix, the woman who invited you in her You nearly mistake the woman standing in front of you for some kind of walking confection. A pampered dog lounges in her arms. I don't believe we had the chance to properly introduce ourselves. I am Viscountess Marcel de Foix. Foix? I don't know how to say that. That name. Foix? Foix? Whoa. Anyway,
Huh.
her voice raises an alarm, raises in volume imperceptibly, but it's enough to draw the attention of the large crowd in the room. Everyone, this is a bit. Armand, Beyonce. A murmur of interest washes through the crowd, and you can feel their eyes focused on you. I'm so
Uh-huh.
glad to see you. Armand, that ambitious little thing, has told me so much about you. In fact, I'd say that he's quite infatuated with you. A common girl like yourself. You're so lucky. You have gained a little credibility. Where is Armand, by the way? Find out. Don't know where I can find him. Still, but he's just thinking it and don't want to let him. I don't know. Well, better to be truthful than no. What is this? This choice requires an easy credibility challenge. It says easy though. Oh, probably should have put my mouse over those to figure out what they are. Actually, what I was hoping to find out. You know where I could find
Huh.
him. Marcel stares at you, concerned and shocked. You don't know where he is? And yet you still came to this little event of mine? She gestures a free hand at the most splendid party you've ever seen in your life. That is so kind of you. Of course I'll help. You have gained a little credibility. So being honest, I got some credibility. Awesome. After all, you've already helped me. Armand, that ambitious little rat, was always reaching above his station, always asking for people to listen to ideas that nobody should even dare entertain. His audacity truly knew no bounds. Her eyes are focused on you, but she's speaking to the crowd, who seem to whisper in agreement. Even the dog regards you with malice. Now, not only do I find out that he's a coward who's fled his fiancée and the consequences of his gall, but now I have this commoner who doesn't know her place either. This choice will increase your peril by a small amount. Why did you invite Armand here? Why? While those craven nationalists in their dingy salons like to hide behind their pamphlets and newsletters, people of quality must be brave enough to denounce our enemies in person. Huh?
Huh.
She pauses before speaking to you in a whisper, loud enough for the entire room to hear. Don't worry, I don't expect you to understand this. You have lost a little credibility. Your Armand is a conniving, traitorous opportunist who sullies the good name of the entire nobility, who just by being alive. The only reason he even chose a common girl like you to be his wife is because any lady of good breeding would see him for the weasel that he is. Ooh. You have lost your credibility. Marcel studies your face intently for a moment, and her voice suddenly fills with concern. Oh, you poor girl. Don't look so hurt. Think of this as education. You don't belong in Paris. The same way that a stray cat doesn't belong in that dress. She gestures dismissively at your finery. You have lost a little credibility. I had none more to lose.
Mhm.
Trying to look like us, act like us. Stop. You're just embarrassing yourself. You've lost some credibility. Holy crap. Vicious. Now leave my estate and never show your face here again. Why the hell did you invite me then? Before you can reply, a valet grabs you roughly by the arm and drags you from the room. People like Viscountess de Foix don't need to do their own dirty work. They have servants for it. It takes far longer than you'd like to get outside, as the entryway is crowded with guests preparing to leave. You can feel their eyes weighing heavily on you. When you finally get to the door, you feel a brutish shove, and you stumble out into the courtyard, barely keeping your balance in your heels. The area is equally crowded, with various persons entering their personal carriages. You can hear somebody snicker but you have no idea who it was. The only thing left to do is go home. Sigh, this has been a night. I'll just leave. Choosing to take the high ground, you straighten your posture and hold your head high, striding towards your carriage as if it was your intention to leave like this all alone. While you make a great effort to haughtily avoid eye contact with all of those watching you, you can tell that some of them are quite surprised by your decorum in this dire situation. You have gained a little credibility. When you arrive at the place where your carriage is parked, you quickly find out that it isn't. It's gone. You check to make sure that you're in the right place, but to no avail. The carriage you hired is simply not there. You went home, the passing coachman says hopefully, while adjusting the harness on a particularly grumpy horse. Dorman came out about an hour ago and told him you wanted the coach to leave without you. Seemed real important, so he went home. Before you could even respond, he gets his carriage moving, leaving you alone with yet another indignity. Going back to Marcel is obviously unacceptable. It's too far to walk home, and most of the other guests have already left. However, there appear to be three other carriages waiting to leave, each of them quite different. Perhaps one of them can help? Humble carriage to the left. The carriage to the left of you is of horn design and features a gilded crest as its only ornamentation. This crest is emblazoned with a motto in Latin and appears to belong to a priest of some description. The curtains are drawn, but someone appears to have lit a candle inside. Judging by the occupant's silhouette, it looks like he's reading. You consider a humble carriage for a moment. Is this who you'd like to ride with? A priest should be willing to help a poor innocent woman like myself. Let's go. Settled in your decision, you set out, returning ready to entrust your fortune to a modest stranger. You reach out and knock on the door of the carriage. The silhouetted figure jumps in surprise. The accented voice calls out to you. Who is it? Father, my name is Yvette Decaux, and I am a common woman in need. Oh my, the voice behind the door calls out. After some fumbling, he parts the curtains on the carriage window. Hello, Madame Decaux. Do not worry. I'm sure there's something I can do for you. Father Sadoti. I'm sure there's something I can do for you. How, how may I help you? May I trouble you for a ride home? My coachman was tricked into leaving without me. May I trouble you for a ride home? Coachman is tricked into leaving without me. For the first time today, you see someone look at you with genuine concern. How terrible! Please come aboard. No trouble at all. He puts down his book and waves you inside. The inside of the carriage is very similar to the outside. It's simple, but lovingly crafted. Father Sadati sits across from you, his eyes darting between you and the small stack of books on the seat next to you. He signals the coachman by tapping the signal of the ceiling of the carriage, and you head off towards Paris. He stares at you for a while, almost starts talking, but thinking better of it. This process repeats a few more times before he finally speaks. May I ask what happened? Let's see. It appears that Parisians have a very different way of entertaining their party guests. That just sounds like surprising. I'm looking for my missing fiancé, but it turns out this party was held by one of his enemies. Imagine Saint Sebastian, but with insults instead of manners. I'm looking for my missing fiancé, but it turns out this party was held by one of his enemies. He raises his eyebrows. What a worrying turn of events. A missing fiancé, sudden enemies, and now a missing carriage. Sounds like you've been beset by quite the number of misfortunes. I'm guessing then that you must be the one I've heard about. I'm sorry that our host felt it acceptable to treat you so poorly. Are you alright? I get the impression that you're not from Paris. What brings you here? I'm not happy with what happened, but I'll be alright. Honestly, I feel terrible. I just hope this day ends as soon as possible. I'm not happy with what happened, but I'll be alright. Resilience is good, he replies, trailing off for a moment. Just make sure to give yourself time to rest. Even the most minor of injuries can wear on the soul if left uncared for. Eventually, the conversation dies down. The adrenaline rush of the night night's disasters and indignities, giving way to simple exhaustion. Father Sadati settles into his books, and you occupy yourself with watching the scenery go by and trying not to fall asleep. The carriage stops, and the coachman opens the door. As you step down into the street, Father Sadati leans out of the carriage to look at your home. Ah, I see you have chosen to live humbly. It's good for the soul, he muses aloud. You have gained a little favor with Ludovico. Until we meet again, madame, he calls cheerily before the carriage drives off into the night. You realize that Camille? Camille? Have I been saying Camilla this whole time? Camille is already waiting for you at the doors.
Hmm.
Who was that? She asks. Just a nice man doing the Lord's work. You step inside and head upstairs, your mind still reeling from the day's events. Slowly, you get undressed and open your journal to record exactly what transpired tonight. Queen was recently seen bedecked with spectacularly new ornament. Is it a sign of royal power or unnecessary excess? Minus 16 credibility, minus 10 livre, minus 3 peril, 1 Ludovico fair. He lost. Yep. After party report. Okay. Chapter 1. Establishing oneself. You waken the next morning in a bed that still feels unfamiliar. In the process of waking up, you start to recall the last night's humiliations and wish that they were merely the product of your fitful dreams. Unable to go back to sleep, you spend some time tossing and turning in bed before finally sitting up. Nothing is going to make last night go away. The only option is deciding what to do next. You feel exhausted, not physically, but in your very soul. Like your fate in Paris has already been decided, and that to remain here would be pointless. It would just be the humiliations of last night, over and over again. However, stronger than the exhaustion is the simmering rage you feel at the outrageousness of your circumstances, at the injustice of your treatment, and at the thought of going back to your tiny village after finally making it here to Paris. No, you must not go back. You cannot go back. Not while a single candle of your ambition still burns. Camille pops into your room, already dressed and ready for the day. Bonjour, madame, she beams. It looks like you had quite an active night. Is there anything I can get you? Please Please find a spare pillow and smother me. I'm not sure. Do you know how to make a murder look like an accident? Sigh. Some kind of refreshment, please. Damn, these are so good. I would so go for that first one, but it's a little too dark. You know how to make a murder look like an accident. I'm sorry, I gotta go with that one. Unfortunately, madame, the only things I've killed are rats, fish, chickens, and one porcupine. Those didn't look very accidental either. I don't think I'll be able to help with a murder. Now, if you wanted me to clean up after murder, that I could do. I like how she just goes with it. Still, I can't let you start your morning without something to drink. It wouldn't be healthy. What can I get you, madame? Tea, please. I need to keep my wits about me if I'm to regain people's trust. Oh. Nope, I gotta get tea. Tea, please. I need to keep my wits about me if I'm to regain people's trust. Camille returns so quickly with the tea that you're certain she made it ahead of time. It's piping hot, fragrant, and not too bitter. You drink the brew in silence, the gears of your mind slowly getting up to speed. The tiredness fades, your anger does not. You have gained a little credibility. You take a few moments to finish your drink in silence and collect your thoughts. Something that keeps coming to mind is all the gossip you've heard during your time at the party. Most of it was idle prattle, but some of it felt scandalous and valuable. Without an inheritance or a job, you'll need a way to make some money. Maybe someone would be willing to buy this gossip. Is that a thing people do? Camille taps her chin thoughtfully. Well, when I was at the house the other day, someone mentioned something about a newspaper with these amazing society pages. I think it was called La Trompette du Pupil. La Trompette du Pupil is now available to visit in the Paris map. They'd have to get their stories from somewhere. Why not you? In fact, I bet you'd be great at that, Madame. Merci, Camille. I think I'll do just that. Gone from Baroness to be gossip. Right? Just me. Merci, Camille. I think I'll do just that. With that, your day begins. No events? No events to worry about, so let's go explore. We're exploring. Go to not an objective. We have okay, so we're gonna go to La Trompette du Peuple. A popular, if unscrupulous newspaper, spend the day here to sell gossip, manipulate public opinion, and update your knowledge of the political factions in location. You walk through the city, following Camille's directions. Eventually, you find yourself threading through narrower and narrower streets. The alleys, packed with refuse, and the occasional vagrant napping in the shade, feel almost oppressive in their closeness. Suddenly, the alleys open up into a wider street near a square. You can hear the splashing of a fountain nearby. You finally find the sign for La Trompette du Pupil. The paint appears to be fresh, but the office seems awfully small. The door is locked, so you give it a knock. Nobody answers. Looking around, you find a hastily written note lodged in the doorframe. It reads, "Office temporarily closed. Engaging in emergency fundraising efforts. We apologize for the inconvenience. Management. P.S. Fear not this setback. The light of journalism shall never fade." It's at that moment you realize the splashing in the fountain is getting louder, accompanied by some of the most inventive profanity you've ever heard. Against your better judgment, you decide to investigate. Aha! A greasy voice shouts triumphantly. You come upon a man in grubby finery, up to his knees in the fountain. His shoes have carefully been placed at the water's edge. He does a little jig as he drops a wet coin into his snuff box, which is clutched tightly in his other hand. Noticing your presence, the man in the fountain turns to you with a nod and a smile that attempts to be ingratiating. "Bonjour, madame. Are you Pierre, the esteemed editor of La Trompette du Pupil?" No, this is... How would we know it is? We'd have to ask who he is. Are you Pierre, the esteemed editor of La Trompette du Pupil?
Oh-ho!
His smile broadens, and the man bows, his manner suddenly as elegant as the finest courtiers of Versailles. "Why, in fact, I am, bonne dame. My name is Pierre Renaudot. Renaudot? Renaudot. Renaudot. Renaudot! There we go. Pierre Renaudot. How may I be of service? I have some valuable social information for sale. If I wanted to sell some gossip, how would that work?" The tutorial, so a devious smile crosses his face. "New to this, are you? Don't worry, it's much easier than you think." Okay, I gotta turn the light on. Be right back. This list shows all the pieces of gossip that you have at the moment. Click on one of them. Alright. Queen was recently seen bedecked with a spectacular new diamond necklace. Is it a sign of royal power or unnecessary access? Gossip's value is determined by its tier and its freshness, but it also has an effect. If you peddle influence, I'll take the gossip for free, but you can use that effect to change the standing of a faction. However, right now you need money, so click on the Sell Gossip. Sell Gossip button. Are you sure you'd like to sell this cheap crown gossip for 30 livres? If you do this, there should be no chance of the public finding out. Okay. When you're ready, click here to leave, and always come back at a later time. go home. 24 Mars 1789. So the next day already. You wake up the next morning to a polite knock on your bedroom's doorframe. Camille enters, carrying a small armload of letters. Madame, Camille starts, both confused and hesitant. There's a lot of letters for you here. Are they for me, or are they for Armand? They're
Aha.
for you, madame. Every single one, Camille beams. Are these party invitations? Why would anyone invite me to a party? Well,
Ah.
madame, you're a little famous right now, Camille replies. Everyone's heard about your run-in with that dreadful party host a few days ago. How they preyed upon your honor and spirited away your carriage driver, leaving you trapped and alone. You don't think that's exactly how it happened, but decide against fretting over the details. Camille starts to talk faster and faster. Then, when all was lost, you were saved by a beautiful stranger who escorted you home in the moonlight night. It's so romantic, no? Oh, the rumors are already running rampant. Why, just in the market the other day, I heard someone say that you've taken a liking to. Camille stops, staring into space, and blushes. Actually, never mind that. Never mind what?
Huh.
It's just rumors from the marketplace, madam. Nothing you should dignify. In any case, this is your chance to meet people in the city who don't hate you, or Monsieur Armand. You have received many party invitations. You can now receive party invitations from all over Paris. In fact, I'm sure that anyone who really judges you fairly is going to love you. That's all well and good, but how does any of this work? Tutorial. Don't worry, madame. It's quite simple. Everyone keeps saying it. Alright, so let's see here. Request the attendance of madame. Let's see. You've just been invited to several parties. Camille will show you new invitations as you receive them. Choose accept or decline to decide which parties you'll attend, or choose close to skip and choose later. Parties take up your whole day, but you can find gossip and advance certain stories there. Ah. Attending this party will give you a level of exhaustion. That's fine. You'll receive church gossip at this party. Heck yeah. Oh, are they on different days though? Really? Party is sure to be the very height of cheerful gaiety. Wait, what day is today? Well, it's only the 24th, so I got 2 days to do it. Okay, yeah, I'll accept it. Yep, credibility up. Alright, this one, let's see, request the attendance of Madame Yvette Nicot for wine tasting on the 29th of Mars, 1789. This intimate is sure to be the height of receive Bourgie's gossip. This part. Sure, why not? Let's do it. Oh, the next one I'm gonna have to pick one. I can't do them both. Yeah. Let's accept it. Let's do it. Oh, I gotta pick one. Oh, crap. Revolution gossip or crown gossip? Let's see. Opera Gala, 3 April. This party is sure to be okay. Do I want crown gossip or do I want revolution gossip? Duke Darkworth. Let's go with the crown gossip. Military ball. Military ball. Monsieur de Lannoy. Lannoy? Okay, yes, accept that one. There we go. Yeah. Okay. You can select any invitation on the calendar to see more details about it. Deciding to attend a party the same day that you receive an invitation gives you a small bonus to credibility. Okay, so choir recital. Or Paris. Oh. It's not gonna take up my day, is it? by the water you come across, an unusual man of many talents, a chance conversation that may hold the power to subtly alter the future. You decide to spend the day walking alongside the river. Halfway through your walk, you notice the sun hitting the water just right, lending brilliant light to the colorful ships and boats. It's a chance moment that looks as beautiful as a painting. You pause to lean against a railing to just take it all in. Nearby, you watch a small private ferry bump into a lavish pleasure craft, igniting a stream of insults and violent oaths from the pilots and the crowd. Just as the ferryman pulls his oar out of the water to hit someone, you notice that you're not watching this scene alone. A man in black and white with a curious brooch on his chest is watching the same scene as yourself.
Huh.
Beautiful music, isn't it? He asks quietly. I suppose it is.
Oh-ho!
Ah, so you hear it too, he says, voice still earnest, yet analytical. You have gained a little credibility. There's a musicality involved. After all, music is mathematics, and mathematics can be found everywhere. It's a hobby of mine to seek out new sounds and see if they could be incorporated into my next composition. As chaotic as it seems, even this everyday conflict has a familiar rhythm, order, and tempo, just like music. Ah, yes, Angelo Strasser, at your service, he says, gesturing to himself. Yvette charmed.
Hmm.
I'm charmed to meet you as well, Madame. We spoke of music, and I just realized that you may be able to help. I have a decision that's left me feeling quite divided. I recently finished a new composition, and I'm looking for a sponsor who could help me fund the first performance of it. But I don't know which to pursue. As of right now, the two groups with the most influence in the world of music are the church and the bourgeoisie. I'm certain my composition will bring popularity to whomever sponsors it, but I don't know who would be best for me. What are your thoughts on the subject? Ooh. Approach the church. They've been sponsoring composers since time immemorial. The Borghese are the best choice. They have ample wealth and a willingness to explore new ideas. In considering what he's having for music, I must say that some such questions are beyond my experience. I simply don't know. Probably go with the church, because that's where I'm going tonight. So maybe he'll be at the party, because approach the church. They've been sponsoring composers since time immemorial. That's quite the good point. Coming around to your idea, I'll start petitioning my associates in the church. Post haste. The church has gained a little power. The power of one of the factions has been changed. The power of the crown and the revolution helps determine who will prevail in the coming conflict between the two, while the power of the church, military, and bourgeois will determine how effective they are when they pick a side. He pauses to check his pocket watch, and, it seems that I should be about my business. Enjoy the rest of your day, Yvette. Angelos excuses himself with a quick bow, and you are once again alone. You look out on the river, and it seems that the conflict between the two boatsmen has been resolved without anyone being sent to the bottom of the river. Experimentally, you close your eyes and just listen to the noises of the city. Perhaps you're imagining things, but it does almost sound musical. 25 Mars 1789. The next morning, you wake up from a long night's rest, feeling pretty much the same as you did last night. Now that you think about it, you've been feeling tired since that terrible party a few nights ago. Camille enters the room, carrying some breakfast. Bonjour, madame. You look unwell. Nicely spotted, Camille. I also feel unwell. Nonsense. Fine. It's a little rude to say it out loud, but you're right. Nicely spotted, Camille. I also feel unwell. It is rude to say out loud, but nonsense. I feel fine. Oh, that's great to hear, Camille replies, oblivious to your cunning ruse. I was worried because this sort of thing used to happen to Monsieur Armand all the time. He would attend all these parties and then forget that sometimes he needed to rest. Armand was always the sort of person who'd burn the candle at both ends. In fact, you were both often guilty. You were both often guilty of this, which is one of the reasons the two of you got along so well together. The more parties he attended, the more exhausted he was, which made things harder and harder for him. Remember, Meta, instead of spending the day outside, you can always rest at home for a day to recover your strength. There's nothing wrong with taking a break every now and then. Home is now available on the Paris map. Do you think you'll be staying in tonight, Madame? I might do just that. Oui, oui, Madame, she replied. So staying in. Explore Paris. I've got 2 exhaustion, so I need to stay home. Spend the day resting at home to remove all levels of exhaustion. We have visit. You decide to take the day off and spend some time at home, resting and recuperating. After spending the day in, taking care of yourself, and doing some light reading, you finally feel recharged. The exhaustion that had been affecting you before has passed. You no longer have any levels of exhaustion. With that complete, you turn your focus upon the other matters that demand your attention. Crap. I only have one outfit. Yeah, I've only got the one outfit. Yeah, the church should be fine with it, right? It's just not novel. This party's been held by the church. They like provincial dresses. Sometimes they like crafty songs. Let's go with provincial. Yeah, let's go with provincial dress, especially since this will be novel then. Alright, so this is a church recital. Go to the party. Choir recital. As the carriage nears the party, you consider taking one last moment to assess your preparation. Assess preparation. You pause to consider how well rested you feel. You're neither well rested nor exhausted. Nothing is holding you back from doing your best in this game of wits. You check a tiny mirror you keep in the carriage to see that you're wearing your provincial dress outfit to a party being held by the church. The guests have no strong feelings on your outfit, and your credibility has not changed much. With preparations like this, the results of tonight could be a toss-up. You step out of your carriage and hear the ripple of whispers that signal your arrival to any social event these days. There's a small line in the entryway of the cathedral as guests are waiting to get in. While you're standing in this line, you manage to overhear an interesting rumor. You make a mental note of it, just in case. You've gained a piece of cheap church gossip.
Huh.
The servant checks your invitation. Everything seems to be in order. Party. It feels in no to the church, not to her.
Hmm.
She curtsies to you as you pass her by. Now let the games begin. If you would. I can. Ages. Gospel. Hold on, I didn't quite read this. It seems because I was discussing the post, but only gossip. This is church. Yeah, let's do this one. This says 3 on it. Potential rewards. Okay. Okay, you step back into the vestibule for a moment so you can collect your thoughts and get the first opportunity to speak with any new arrivals to the party. It's then that you see two individuals speaking together in a corner. The fact that they're trying to stay away from everyone else only increases your interest in their conversation. You recognize neither the spectacled woman nor the extravagantly dressed gentleman that she's speaking with. However, judging from the fact that she pauses to write every time she speaks, you can surmise that she's interviewing. It becomes apparent via your spying that these people are Nika Aikman, a foreign author looking for inspiration for her latest novel, as well as Guillaume de Sebel, a self-styled libertine philosopher, an appellation that doesn't seem to require much in the way of academic credentials. Ooh.
Huh.
You described yourself earlier as a patron of the arts. What is your relationship with them? Have you sponsored any performances?
Ooh.
I am no mere tight-fisted patron, good madam. I am an inspiration, a muse, if you will. In fact, when Beaumarchais wrote The Barber of Seville, I was his inspiration for Count Almaviva, a sharply dressed man. The sharply dressed man proudly replies between long gulps of wine. From what you remember of that play, that's not something to be particularly proud of. It also doesn't sound even vaguely true.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this will be fantastic for my reputation. I must ask, how did you and Monsieur Beaumarchais meet? Ah, well, we met at a banquet held by a visiting Algonquin prince. I'm sorry,
Hmm.
did you say an Algonquin prince? He came across the ocean from the Americas and then held a banquet? The author replies, far more suspicious of this particular. Yaume glances to you and raises an eyebrow. He knows his game is almost up. I know it sounds outrageous. He's serious about things. When myself was there. Me, no. Madam, it sounds unlikely because it never happened. This is just a I know far too much. I know far too much to take a side, whatever this business is. You quickly slink away before either of them have the chance to drag you into their slowly unraveling web of lies. In war and in parties, discretion is sometimes the better part of valor. You utter a few unladylike curses to yourself under your breath as you realize that this detour has already cost you precious time here. You decide to examine the rest of the park. Perhaps you'll find another opportunity amongst your travels. Nope. Stop. Lunch. Here's the party's hostess left to study. Gossip and rumors give you have quite a lot. You approach a woman who's been eyeing the other guests in a particular familiar way. In fact, it's the exact same way you look at guests at these functions. She looks up at you. Yvette Deco, I take it. She asks, sipping on a glass of white wine. Mind assessment. Who are you? What are you doing? How do you know?
Huh.
Well, forgive me, but I'd be an awful gossip monger if I didn't. You're quite the popular subject of conversation. My name is Anne Day. Romain. We're both acquainted with Pierre Renato. Funny little man, isn't he? I used to work for him as a rumor monger a long time ago before his boss passed away and bequeathed him the newspaper. Of course, since then I've moved on to greener pastures. How's Pierre doing, by the way? Does he still gamble like a madman? Oh no, he doesn't even drink anymore. I hear the Pope might have him canonized. Why did you stop working for Pierre in the first place? I'm not sure. Is that what he does when he sobers up?
Huh.
Well, when the crown finally put a halt to royal censorship, newspapers started cropping up everywhere. Suddenly it became clear that Pierre was only a big fish. He was only a big fish because he'd been swimming in a little pond. For all of his failings, Pierre has his principles, and I admire them. However, you've seen this operation. The man is barely holding it together, and I couldn't trust my living on something like that. By the way, I'm not certain that you're what you're doing here, but I'm here to interview the Comte de Boulainvillers. I mean, he doesn't know it's about you, but that's not important. Simply put, I'm here to find something interesting related to the church, and I trust you to stay out of my way. What say you and I interview him together? Together, we cover angles. Yeah, let's do this
Hmm.
one. Interview him together. I'd be agreeable to such a plan. If we both sold the story to our respective employers at the same time, they'd be none the wiser. She leads you over to Comte de Boulainvillers and engages him in conversation. It looks like they've met before, but he has no idea what her actual profession is. The two of you alternate in your conversation with him, slowly drawing out details of the latest scandals. Like a good gentleman, he attempts to remain discreet, but against the two of you, he doesn't stand a chance against the two-pronged ambush of your charming. You have gained a piece of cheap church gossip. The three of you stick around together, chatting for a while before you find that there's nothing else to be gained from this conversation. Eventually, you part ways. You decide to search the rest of the party and see if there's anything else for you to do. Alright, so a country priest in Paris for the estate general has been granting asylum to accused criminals. Is he intervening on behalf of the people or obstructing justice? This is very much a visual novel with it's for Paris. Made in the this one is Park Moncourt. Like so today I'm gonna go over here. So rumor, there's obviously that looks marginally clearer than before. He's managed to shuffle the maps into differently shaped blocks. Honestly, it's hard to tell. We spend a few moments waiting around in the entry before Pierre arrives, and he seems quite enthused by your presence. Why, if it isn't my newest client, please come in. Have you come back with more delicious information? Or perhaps you are trying to find someone known? Exactly what you're talking about. Oh, playing your cards carefully. I admire that. You've gained a little credibility. I was referring to your absent fiancé, the Baron Armand de Marble. Snorted a small pinch of snuff, carefully examining your face for any kind of reaction. Ever since making your acquaintance, I knew something about you was familiar, and my keen journalistic senses are never wrong. Your beloved Armand was quite the social butterfly, and he mentioned you often. In fact, like any good lover, he knew quite a lot about you. How much? But how much did you really know about him? It's early February, and you take a seat at your usual spot in Le Cygne, a small tavern in your hometown. The hood of your cloak is still up, but it's less to do with the snow outside and more to do with the fact that you don't want to talk to anyone else here. After a few minutes of trying to read your book, but failing to really get into it, you hear a set of footsteps approaching your table. Bonjour, Yvette. Hope you weren't waiting too long. It's not polite to keep a old lady waiting. J'essaie désolé, ma chérie. It's taken so much longer to get my affairs in order than I thought. Now I'm already spoiling our last night. Armand, please. I was only kidding.
Oh.
Armand gives an audible sigh of relief. While he usually cares about keeping his appointments, he rarely lets something like this get to him. I'm sorry, it's just the Estates General is important. But so are you. I'm packing and writing letters night and day in order to get ready, but all the time I spend on that is time I'm not spending with you. He pauses and takes a deep breath. Enough of that. If I want to feel sorry for myself, I can do it on the carriage to Paris. Tonight is for making sweet memories. He waves to barmaid, who brings you a bottle of wine and some glasses, along with a loaf of freshly baked bread that's still steaming when it touches the table. Armand fills your glass first. My father's been talking my ear off about this particular vintage. I hope it's up to your standards. He then fills his own, then raises his glass for a toast. To France, to the General Assembly, but most importantly, to us. The red wine is deep and full bodied. It smells of leather, blackberries, and cloves. It's some of the best you've had, and you can tell that Armand is enjoying it as well. You spend an hour finishing the bottle together, pausing occasionally to nibble at the bread. All the while, you trade jokes, news from around the village, and simply try to forget that this is the last you'll see of each other for months. With the wine finished, Armand pauses to place the bottle on its side, a curious habit he picked up from his father. He then takes a deep breath and waits a moment before saying, "The snow appears to have stopped. Would you like to join me outside? I have something I want to show you." Outside, the night air is brisk. Even the colors of the moonlit sky are cold. It's a stark contrast from the fireside warmth of the tavern, yet despite the open air, it feels more intimate and personal than the small tavern you've left behind. While I like Si- La Seine as much as the next man, I'd prefer to end our night with something that's just about us, Armand says in a soft, low voice. He turns and holds out his elbow for you to grab onto. Care for a walk? I'd love to. You step in close to him, wrapping your arm around his before you both wander off into the moonlit night. You have gained some favor with Armand. Where is he then? You walk along the edge of a lake, the only sound being the whispers of the wind, the sounds of your footfalls, and the steady rhythm of each other's breath. Your head leans on his shoulder, his body feels both warm and familiar. The moon is full, the town distant, and it feels like you're the only two people in the entire world. Without a word, Armand leans in towards you, his eyes closed. His, your lips meet his, and a joyful shiver runs through your body. His hand comes up to stroke the side of your face as his other arm hugs you close. When did that come? Hold on. You're not sure how long your kiss lasts. Time seems to have lost some of its importance. You pull away from each other and you stare into his eyes. His face is a mixture of excitement and surprise. He whispers to you, "I hope every kiss we have is as good as that one." You have gained some favor with Armand. Armand breathes deep, preparing himself for his next words.
Huh.
It's then that a man stumbles out of the darkness towards you, glancing about himself and trying to catch his breath.
Eh.
"Armand, I've been looking everywhere for you," he whispers hoarsely. His accent is foreign and wholly unfamiliar. All you know is that he isn't French. Or is he English? Your town is relatively small, and yet you still don't recognize this man. Armand, who is this? Eyes
Hmm.
widen for a moment. He seems to notice you for the first time. "I am Charles, a good friend of Monsieur Armand," he states, slowly and carefully. "I was afraid he'd already left for the Estates General." Charles places a small leather case in Armand's hands. "I just wanted to make sure that he didn't forget these documents. It's quite fortunate that I found him in time." "And who might you be, madame?" "I'm your good friend's fiancé."
Ah.
Charles winces as if he'd been cut. "I'm so sorry, madame. That was very rude of me. It's a pleasure to finally make your acquaintance." He looks back and forth between the two of you and gives a quick, formal bow. "You two are obviously in the middle of something important. Please excuse my intrusion. Bonne nuit." Bonne nuit. Wait, I know it means good night. I just don't know exactly how to say it. Bonne nuit. With that, Charles leaves. You and Armand stare at each other silently for over a minute. Care to explain who that was? "That was Charles," Armand says evenly. "I used to buy books from him by letter. However, a few months ago, we started a true correspondence between myself and some of his associates. We've been discussing politics. We share a lot of ideas in common." "What ideas are
Hmm.
those?" "Ideas about modernity, monarchy, and what France needs in order to succeed in a changing world," Armand says, almost automatically, before looking away from you and blushing for a moment. His breath mists in the cold air as he stares out across the still waters of the lake. "I know that isn't the whole answer, but or what you want to here. However, I need you to trust me a bit. Please." His voice is serious, grave, pain. France is changing. That cannot be stopped. It's up to us to make sure that it changes for the better. Pierre is staring at you. You must have gotten lost in your thoughts for a moment.
Hmm.
Madame, I was asking, how well do you know your fiancé? I know him better than anyone, and I know he's a good man. Even after all this anguish, you still feel this way towards him? Pierre asks, his shock barely concealed. Such lasting affection in this modern age is quite rare.
Hmm.
Pierre puffs out his chest and strikes a heroic pose. I shall do my best to reunite you with your lost Armand, as it has often been rightly said that I am a man dedicated to the causes of truth and love. You look Pierre up and down, like it's certain if anyone has described it in that way. Ever. Of course, I cannot work for free, Pierre admits, shifting awkwardly from foot to foot. I must support my newspaper after all. But if you help me with this, I will help you as best I can. You see, I'm looking to run a new social piece, something that will capture the imagination of the public. Pierre favors you with a broad, toothy grin. I may also rekindle some old rivalry, so to speak. After all, it's easier to sell newspapers when there's something to write about. If you bring me gossip related to the Borgies, I'll tell you where to learn more about your estranged Armand. Pierre has asked a favor of you. Tell him specific types of fresh gossip in the allotted time, and you'll receive special reward. You can track these requests in the gossip tab. Once you get me this gossip, my journalistic genius shall handle the rest. Now then, to business? Alright, let's see. Country priest in Paris released the 2 miles from granted asylum. Sell that. Wait, how do I have this twice? Alright. Sounds good to me. Hey, if they want to give it to me twice, that's fine. Alright, I have enough time to go buy a new outfit. Next morning, you find a letter on your nightstand. Camille must have brought it in while you were still asleep. It's sealed in golden wax with the initials LS. Opening it up, you find a letter from Ludovico, written with the well-practiced handwriting of someone who spends most of their day among books, scrolls, and tomes. Chère Yvette, while I'm thankful that I met you on that fateful night, I still cannot forget the terrible sins committed against you by that wicked host. In fact, I've done some research on my own and believe that I have some information that you will find quite interesting. Ludovico goes on to describe a particular fountain deep in the city. He'd like to meet with you in secret as he's worried about someone intercepting the letter. Is your enemy really that powerful? Ludovico's clue is now available to visit in the Paris map. Please meet me there as soon as you can, and I will share what I know. Using your map, it doesn't take long to figure out where this particular fountain is. In fact, you could visit it today if you like. Shit! Damn it, I need to go buy a new dress. Such a weird thing to be saying. Okay, go do this. Damn it. Go do this. Ooh. You leave the house earlier than usual that morning, uncertain of how long it'll take you to walk to the fountain that Ludovico mentioned in his letter to you. Given that you're still new to skullduggery, you've decided to dress in darker clothes and have stuck to comfortable walking shoes. Surprisingly enough, you manage to find the fountain without getting turned around. It seems like the perfect place for a meeting like this. There's just enough people wandering around that you won't draw attention, but also few enough that you'll be able to find somewhere secluded to talk. Looking around, you can't spot Ludovico in it if you decide to take a seat. So you decide to take a seat at the edge of the fountain. It makes sense to be visible enough that he'll be able to find you without any flashy waving or signaling. You get comfortable, smooth out your skirts, and pause for a moment to reflect on the decisions that led you to a point in your life where you're having a secret rendezvous with priests to learn more about your hated enemies. If anything, they must have been some good decisions. Later, after you've waved away a particularly enthusiastic salesman for the third time, a familiar face emerges from behind the shadow of the tree. Bonjour, madame, he nods pleasantly. You seem troubled. Is there anything this humble priest can help you with? Ludovico, if we're being followed, the pursuers already know who we are. Our was a terrible dismissal. Can we go somewhere private? Probably this one. Somewhere private.
Hmm.
That is an excellent idea. Please, lead the way. You have gained a little favor with Ludovico. You find a quiet corner in the square to speak with Ludovico. It's secluded and shady. Ludovico takes a deep breath before he begins. I know I've already said this before, but I still want to tell you that I'm sorry for everything that happened. From what I know, Marcel's always had a penchant for being vindictive. This, combined with her wealth and position, makes her a force to be reckoned with. Strangely enough, the moment I actually started looking into Marcel's wealth and position, something didn't feel right. She claims that her storied family fortune comes from a series of wise investments. So I started paying visits and offering blessings to some of her family's known business partners. In that whole time, couldn't find evidence any of her family's investments were older than 30 years or so. 30 years is a long time for most people, yes, but compared to most aristocratic families, that's barely the blink of an eye. From the mindset of the clergy, it's even less. There are churches in France that are over over 1,000 years old. Why would her family pretend their fortune is older than it really is? It feels like Marcella is hiding something, but it has to do with her money. Merci, Ludovico. Your help means a lot.
Huh.
Think nothing of it, man. I'm just trying to do the right thing. You're not sure if Ludovico helping you exact your revenge could really be classified as the right thing, but you're not going to complain. If you're going to seek vengeance on Marcel, the best time to do so would be on April 24th, the night of her birthday masquerade. It's guaranteed to be well attended, which means she can't just ignore you. Of course, to do this, you'll still need both evidences and an invitation. While I must go, remember that all of this is speculation. If you want to use any of this information against Marcel, you'll need indisputable proof of whatever lies or wrongdoing she's engaged in, or it'll simply be your word against her. Still, I will pray for your success. Ciao, Ludwika says. You stop to think about this new information. Marcel is a wealthy aristocrat, but her fortune appears to be younger than she claims. It seems like this knowledge could be useful, but you'll have to dig deeper first. Researching Marcel is now available to visit in the Paris. With that, you start to head home, already planning your next move against your sworn enemy. If you're going to bring Marcel to ruin, you'll have to be ready by April 24th. Damn, now I got a freaking. I forget what this one is. You wake up to the sound of someone knocking on your door downstairs. Before you can even get up, you hear Camille cheerily call out, "I'll get it!" When she answers. When she answers the door, you hear her spend a minute talking with a man whose harsh voice you don't recognize. When their conversation finishes, Camille heads up to your room.
Huh.
Madame, we need to talk about the rent and my wages. Who was that at the door? What would you like me to do? Well, the grumpy man downstairs was our landlord. While we're paid up on our rent through the week, we'll need to make sure there's enough for next week. While we don't need to pay him this week, but next week we need to have 35 livres for our rent and 5 livres for my wages. Or we could be in trouble. You will now You now will be able to pay both your rent and wages of your servants every week, or deal with damage to your credibility, or perhaps even peril. Is there anything else, madame? No, just breakfast will be fine. With that, Camille heads downstairs to make you breakfast, and you're left to wonder how you'll take care of this. Wine tasting. Huh? This will be. Oh, the boy. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's the kind of gossip I need. Awesome. Oh, they don't like that one. So I should probably go with this one. Damn it. I'm exhausted though. Oh, makes sense. Okay. Go in the provincial outfit, or else I'll end up with less credibility. Alright, provincial. Sucks. Assess preparation. Pause to consider how well it is. Unfortunately, feel the exhaustion set in. As soon as you look past the door towards the end of this crowded party goers. Tonight is going to be a long one. The exhaust is giving you credibility penalty. You check in a tiny mirror. You guess have no strong feelings in your outfit, and it's not changing. Preparations for this result will be fine. You obtained a piece of cheap bourgeois gossip. The servant checks your invitation. Everything seems to be in order. Yeah, let's give a gift away. Gift party. You hear the whispers of other guests noting your generosity. You have spent 10 liveries. You have gained a tiny amount of credibility. You have lost any amount of peril. As I was in peril. Games begin. Okay. Let's see. Festival, you hear some strange noises in the coat closet. Whatever did that? So, distant days, far off memory. There we go. More gossip. There's someone approaching you, and you sense some sort of amorous intent. Alright, let's put this one. You find yourself in a relatively secluded room, stealthily surveying the area to see if there's anyone particularly important that you should be introducing yourself to. Introducing yourself is, of course, a mild breach of decorum. However, you have neither the time nor the patience for such things when there's no one around. Your ears perk up at the sounds of someone whispering behind you. While you can't make out the words themselves, it almost sounds like a frantic argument, one with a sudden resolution. A
Aha.
woman suddenly approaches you, appearing at the corner of your vision. But bonsoir, Madame Pickle. I'm sorry to approach you so suddenly, but I was wondering something. By I of course mean to say we, she adds quite hurriedly, the faith. Of course, how does any of this strange rambling even resemble something that ends with of course? Have you two come to a decision? Man asks impatiently, also entering the conversation from outside of your field of vision. I was getting to that, she hisses at her partner. I don't know what you two are plotting, but you have met.
Huh.
Ah, well, you see, my husband and I are a lively but sweet married couple, and you're an interesting woman.
Oh,
Very attractive, her husband projects over her. I don't know why you had to bring that up right this second, she replies irately, and the two of them pause to bicker amongst each other in whispers for a minute or so while you sip your wine in silence.
Mm-hmm.
Where was I? You see, we have been looking for a woman like yourself to join us. It takes a moment for you to put their insinuations together, not because you've never heard of a menage a trois. It's just that you didn't think that you'd be approached about one by a pair of desperate strangers. In a way, the proposal is almost adorable. Most well-to-do couples that grow this tired of each other usually just skip straight to silent, furious adultery. Still, you don't know why you want to act as a stand-in just to rekindle their flagging desire. What exactly am I going to do after this? After such a paltry attempt at winning my heart? No. Ooh. Oh, it's a medium, though. I wish I knew what exactly they mean by medium credibility check. What exactly am I going to get after this? That's the best question I can come up with. What exactly would you want? No, how dare you try to treat us like this? People aren't just objects to toy with as you please. You consider repeating his statement back to him just to see if he heard himself correctly, but decide against it. You have no idea what you decided to miss out on. No idea at all. Do you know who we are? You have gained some peril on your ship. You've lost some credibility. You have gained some peril. While perilous decisions can often get you what you want, if your peril bar fills up, then it means something unfortunate will happen to you. Be careful with how much you take on. Consider telling him no to both questions, but by that time they've already left in a huff, muttering about how rude you are. Left to your own devices once more, you stop to wonder how these sorts of things keep happening to you. Small wager. What's this? Libertine gentleman. Oh, nope, nope. What's this money? That's more gossip. So it's some more gossip. Sufficient funds. Circling the party, you see an interesting group of people. The conversation is flying between them quickly and easily. The perfect place to obtain some gossip.
Huh.
However, just as you start to approach them, you get stopped by a woman you've never seen before. A moment of your time, if you please, he says, in a tone of voice that suggests that you don't actually have a choice. Madame Decaux, I am a little curious as to how you fit in with all of this, she continues, gesturing discreetly to a party of trendy and moneyed individuals all around you. You maintain a diplomatically neutral facial expression and take a deep sip of your wine. Here it comes, the lecture. The bourgeois is a unique group, as we're the only ones where one has to maintain their status once they achieve it. The aristocracy are born into their titles and will keep them, no matter how poor they become, or how ineffectively they wield their powers. Members of the military are considered veterans for life. We're not like that. Every single day is a struggle to maintain our status. There can be no rest for us, because everything we do matters.
Huh.
Everything here deserves Everyone here deserves to be here. Why do you? You must understand. If I don't seem like I belong, it's because I'm just getting started. You can hear my stop to justify myself that yes. Now move aside. I'm just getting started. Oh, really? You must
Huh.
admit, that's quite good. I look forward to seeing the results of your efforts. You have gained a little credibility. She steps aside like a sentry at a guardhouse and you walk away. You try not to dwell on the baffling audacity of what just transpired. You manage to reach your intended group right before they split up. You introduce yourself quickly and keep the conversation flowing just long enough to get some interesting gossip. You have gained a piece of cheap bourgeois gossip. Soon they disperse, and you find yourself cursing the woman who sought to test your patience. Who does she think she is? Of course you belong here. You belong wherever you can manage to get in. Otherwise you wouldn't be there. You sigh and rub your temples to prevent an oncoming headache. Once it subsides, you check to see if there's anything else you can do with this party. Coalition of members of the bourgeois have been investing a large amount of money in hot air balloons. Are they visionaries or just wasting money on ridiculous fancies? Oh, it's the same thing. Why did I get the same bit of information twice? Is it because it's cheap? What if that's the reason? I lost 7 credibility, lost 10 live, and got 7 peril. That sucks. Okay. Where's... Hold on. Okay, we're gonna save. Save game. Alright. I think I'm gonna be done for tonight, because I am already getting tired. Yes. Okay. There we go. Okay. Well, that was fun. Let's see here. Actually, let me mute that. Let's go see who's on, who I can raid. And especially since I gotta answer some texts. Let's see. Yeah, my girlfriend was texting me, so I'm just figuring out who to raid into. Let's see. Stream summary. No, stream manager. Oh, excuse me. All right. And we're raiding. Who are we going to raid? Nova. Majora's Mask. Digimon. Oh, they've been going for an hour already. So let's see. Whoop. Okay. Souls Colors next week. Working on art. That's Ariba. Mythic Duo. Partner Push. Considering some old games. Yeah. Okay. Destiny 2. Link's Awakening. Overwatch. Let's see. Is there anybody else in here? Lent maxing. What is that supposed to mean? You know what? Yeah. I'm gonna raid Jesse. Oh man. All right, I'm raiding into Jesse Cox. He's playing Final Fantasy 14. What? Oh, okay. Why does it say I have 2 viewers? That's weird. Okay. I'm raiding into Jesse Cox, as I said. Got 30 seconds left on it. Ugh, my voice hurts. Well, if you are here, thank you for joining me. Hope you have a nice night. Later.